Welcome back to the Leftovers podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Joey.
And this is the second episode, if you haven't checked out the first episode, which was uploaded Sunday. Saturday, what the hell? Sunday.
Yeah.
Eventually. It did take a while, we do apologise for that. But This one should be coming out Friday. And we are recording this on Tuesday. So if any news has happened since then...
We'll talk about it in the next episode.
We'll talk about it in the next episode, probably.
Yeah. Well, we aim to basically do it, film an episode between Tuesday and Thursday and bring it out on the Friday. From now on we'll aim to bring an episode out every Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know when to hit
so
that like button, something like that.
Exactly. Make sure you do like and subscribe, hit the notification bell.
100%.
Yep, exactly. We're going to start this podcast how we ended it. Talk about MESSI.
Big news since then.
Because we were meant to upload it sooner, the podcast. We were meant to upload it sooner. But obviously MESSI's announcement of being we apologise for any background noise.
It's a dog.
Yeah, it's my dog. But basically we're meant to upload it sooner, but since the time of us trying to upload it and actually uploading it, MESSI did announce that he was going to stay at Barcelona for at least this season. So yeah, just your thoughts on that, Charlie, about that announcement.
Yeah, he did the interview with Goal. Obviously watched the English subtitle one. I was doing very hard.
What do you mean? I'm flipping hard and
it's probably like the most I've ever looked at subtitles in a long time. Just like
carefully.
I've had to go back every 10 seconds. Just like, what did he say?
Carefully analysing every word.
It was very clear. He even said in the interview that he basically said to his family, his wife and his Matteo, isn't it, his son?
Yeah.
But they were upset and they didn't want him to move, but he's been wanting to move. He said for the whole season or the whole year, and he did say the president that if he ever wanted to leave in the season, he would grant that wish. But obviously, the president never thought something like that would ever happen. Yeah. So he might have just said at the top of his head and just be like, yeah, sure. But I think now reality has hit him and he's gone, oh God, he actually does want to leave now. And he's known this for all season. He's now gone, no, right, the contract was something like he could leave at the end of season, but it had to be in June. But that contract is now expired in June. But what Messi's saying, which is the right thing, the season got extended, so he's technically leaving at the end of the season. But Messi's even said in the interview he was basically just proved everyone, saying that he really wanted to leave, and that he didn't mention that he wanted to go City or anything where he was going to, but he just mentioned that he really wanted to leave. He was unhappy with the club, not being competing at the top level anymore in the especially in the Champions League. They didn't even win Liga, which they usually do. He's very unhappy, and he still said he would give his all for the club because he loves his club, but everyone was saying that he would take it to court and win it in court, which I believe if they did take it to court he would have won, but he said that it's his boyhood club, through and through. He would never take his boyhood club that he loves so much and his best years of football to court, so he basically had no choice but to have someone pay the release clause, which he described as impossible, which is or you would have to stay at the club, and he did. So he's not happy, but I think personally I believe he will either leave in January or next summer, but he'll be 34, so I think if he does go to City he'll just have 2 years there and then go America or somewhere.
I think he probably wanted to leave at the start of last season, but I think he may have been okay, I'll give it this season because obviously the agreement of the 30th of June thing, he can leave on a free. If I've got that as a backup option, but I think 3 years in a row now in the Champions League where they didn't bottle really the Bayern Munich one, because I think everyone knew Bayern Munich would win.
Yeah,
but still
by that much,
it's ridiculous. But you had Roma, then you had Liverpool, and then you had obviously Bayern Munich 8-2,
and he mentioned that in the interview as well, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And it's probably been in his mind for the past year or two now, leaving Barcelona, and I think the club just need to actually say to him, you know what, we have messed up, and you know, we'll actually take care of you and we'll actually support you in whatever choice you make, because he is a club legend. He's probably the biggest legend at their club, without a shadow of a doubt. And you know, he deserves what he wants, and you know, the fact that it's kind of come to this thing of, it's kind of like Barcelona v Messi. It's quite a sour end to it all.
I think it's been so much better. Just like a lot of professional players, when they come to the end of their careers, they usually just go somewhere else for new experiences, or go to America, just end their career there. But yeah, like with Messi, like, because he's such an icon, considered the best ever, that he was just Barcelona since he was a young kid, and all the way through to 33 years old, and now he got to the point where he's like, I want to leave, and if I was the president, I would have just gone, I love you so much, but I love you as a person more, and I'm just gonna let you go wherever you want to,
respect your choice,
and keep the relationship happy, and then being happy, you may get him back to do something with running the club, having a stakeholder in the club, coaching, anything like that. I mean, anything like. But now it's just all in doubt, isn't it? He said like he loves the club, but I mean, it's just not ended well.
Yeah, I think like the hierarchy of Barcelona hasn't been great over the recent seasons. You know, in terms of transfers, just in terms of everything really. Yeah. And there were obviously like rumours going around that the president of Barcelona came out and said, if Messi stays, I'll leave. Or like, I'll leave if it means Messi will stay, or something like that. But obviously Messi stayed, so it's whether or not he'll keep his word on that. But yeah, the hierarchy of Barcelona hasn't been great, and I think, you know, as much as we sit here and say they should respect that, I think it wasn't too surprising that they turned around and went, actually no, you have to stay here, and you know, someone has to pay you 700 million.
I think it was just a thing from the club where they just had an agreement where you could leave at the end of the season, because they just said that because they never thought he would leave.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I don't know if he said it recently, but Messi has said, like, at the end of Barcelona, I want to move back to his boyhood club in Argentina. Yeah. Was it like
before he went?
Before he went to Barca, obviously. But
the scenes though.
Yeah, I mean,
he could be 80 years old and everyone would still come to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he'd be with his walking stick.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
still can sign a signature at the end of the day.
Exactly. So. But I think I didn't see him leaving Barcelona. I never saw that actually happening. Because if it was, regardless of whether it was for free or for 700 million or whatever the rumour prices were, because I just think regardless of whether it's a free transfer or 700 million, no club in the world will have that amount of money to actually pay for his wages or anything.
Yeah.
You know, and
he gets paid 100 million a year.
Exactly. You know, anyway. Exactly. So, you know, if Man City turn around and go, we've signed Lionel Messi, there will be questions raised, and like, how have you actually afforded that? But you know, we've seen that before with Man City anyway. So
yes, we have.
Yeah.
But, it's just like with Messi, like people say, oh, his best years were with Xavi and Iniesta, and then when they left, he wasn't the same player. But that's just a lie, isn't it? Like,
no, yeah, I agree.
He has carried that team to titles, especially in the league. And domestic titles.
There's a plane. There's a plane.
I mean, we live in a house, we're in a conservatory.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get back on point. So, and when they left, everyone was like, oh, will he have like the assists he does, or have the balls played through to him? And now they've got players like De Jong who they've just bought and this and that, but they're still like developing.
Yeah, they still need to.
They can't be. They're not like the new Iniesta. Like, even Erling Haaland was in his game yesterday was being told like, oh, he's the next, like, he could live up to San Messi, Ronaldo. I'm like, there's putting confidence in the kid, but there's also putting pressure on someone.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, don't give someone that high expectation. Just let them play and just let them be free. And then like, look at Ronaldo at Man United. He made so many mistakes. He was their 18-year-old kid, but he gave him straight to the number 7 shirt. He was on free kicks. He was able to dribble the ball. He let him lose the ball, but it developed him as a player. No pressure, I mean, yes, there's a pressure of being number 7, but he wasn't like, he wasn't being told off all the time for losing the ball. He was an 18-year-old kid letting him develop, and I hope that's what happens with Foden and Greenwood, and we'll get onto that a bit later about what happened to them too. But and so with Messi, like when they left, he was still like late 20s, wasn't he, or something like that. So he was already he was still in his prime, and he to this day he's still one of the best players ever, and he always will be. But it's just people will like just write him off, and now that he's like, when Neymar left PSG, wasn't happy about that. It was very obvious he wanted him back. They couldn't get him back.
Yeah, that transfer didn't make sense to me at the time. Like,
so much money, wasn't it?
It was the most expensive transfer in the world, in history rather. So
yeah,
but
such a joke.
Yeah, it was very weird why that happened. But I mean, he's got since then he's got onto a Champions League final. Messi and Barcelona haven't since that transfer.
That is true.
But in terms of like young players coming up, we've seen a load of big talents that could be something bigger, like Mbappe, Haaland, like you mentioned. Foden looks good. Havertz.
Even Werner's quite young, isn't he?
Werner's, I think he's early 20s, like 22, 23, similar age to. I don't know.
Jesse Lingard, it's quite old.
No, he's a top quality.
He's the biggest prospect to have in England.
Yeah, exactly. We're joking, by the way. He's 27 or something, but is he even older?
No, he's 27.
Okay.
He's older than like Phil Jones, I think.
Oh God.
Phil Jones is older than Neymar Jr. No, Neymar Jr. is older than Phil Jones.
Oh my God.
He's been around for that long.
Oh my God. But Rashford's still very young. Martial's still quite young, to be fair.
Yeah, I just don't want Rashford to be the next Danny Welbeck, get all the hype and then just drops off, goes to Watford, ends his career.
Yeah, that's awkward. But yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, he's doing a lot outside.
Yeah, he's done a lot, especially with the child food poverty. He's done very well with that. Did you see his Twitter debate with one of the MPs?
I heard about that. I never actually
it was like it's the an MP tweeted that because he was responding to a question or something on Twitter, and he was like, it's the parents' responsibility to feed their child and whatnot. And then Rashford commented back on it, talking about child poverty and whatnot, and
dismissing it.
Yeah, just kind of dismissing it. And then the MP actually tweeted back another comment. I can't remember what it was, but it really wasn't good. I promise you, it really wasn't good. It was something to do, and I need to try and find it.
Was
again.
It like something he said out of anger or something?
I think it's something. It's definitely something that you would regret to hear. Or
especially
you would regret,
especially the fact that the world's probably seen it and all.
Yeah, I need to try and find it, but I can't actually remember. No, it's fine. I can't remember, but it was pretty bad. Yeah, but
you guys probably find it.
Yeah, it's definitely somewhere out on the internet. He definitely posted it, but it was bad. I'll tell you afterwards because I know what it is, but I don't want to.
I'll have a look
just in case it isn't true. But yeah, there's a lot of quality talent out there, youth talent, and there's always going to be.
Was it Ansu Fati? What's his name?
And he's like 18.
Youngest. He's broke all the records. Youngest player to score in the Champions League.
And, he did that.
Youngest Spanish player to score, obviously in Spain.
Yeah.
But and then he also broke another record, wasn't he? Youngest player to score in the Liga or something like that.
Probably, I don't know.
I saw him the other day.
But he looks very
record breaker from young. He's a big prospect. But hope he comes through well.
No, there's a lot of youth prospects out there, and obviously, when you've got the players at the moment, like with the likes of Ronaldo and Messi and Neymar, you're always going to get compared to them. When you set such a high standard. Exactly, when you set such a high standard at such a young age, everyone's like, oh, he's the French Ronaldo, he's the young Thierry Henry, and whatnot. But and there is a lot of pressure on them. But we've seen with Mbappe, he hasn't really taken much notice. He's done this for the past couple of seasons now, and I'm sure he'll do even better. Yeah. And I'm sure Haaland will do something similar. He scored like a hat trick in half an hour on his Dortmund debut. So I'm sure he'd be perfectly fine. But there is that kind of pressure on youth talent being, and it's like you are the next Messi and whatnot.
I think just like let them develop and get to the heights
exactly.
they want to, they can get.
Instead of being like they're the next Messi, why don't we say they are going to be, Mbappe? We will look back at, if Mbappe still is at this level, we'll look back at it in 10, 15 years later, we'll look back and go, Mbappe was insane, So it is a lot of pressure for the young talent.
Especially with young talent, you also get mistakes, and as we all know, like Phil Foden and Mason Greenwood had the honour of a lifetime come and play for England against Iceland. Both featured against Iceland. Foden started, Greenwood came on.
We got lucky.
It was such a boring game.
We got lucky.
Honestly, the team he put out was terrible overall. Put out some players I wanted to see. Some were just like, why you put them out? And then, Walker got sent off. One of theirs players got sent off.
That was right. Was that towards the end? That was towards the end, wasn't it? Yeah. Just a handball.
Walker got sent off, and then we got a pen. But they sat back even more when we got down to 10 minutes. They knew we were pressurised more. And then we won the pen, which was a pen, and then it wasn't a dodgy decision. Pen's a pen. Took the pen, scored the pen, and then there's always an agenda against pens. It's not. But anyway, it's England. The goals.
Anyway, back to the Foden and Greenwood must have been really happy with that win, or the 2 wins that they got on that night.
Greenwood did have a girlfriend, but he's single now.
Foden had a girlfriend as well.
Foden has a girlfriend and a kid. Foden's 20, Greenwood's 18, turning 19 soon. Foden, 20-year-old, already having a kid. He was a father at 18, so I think he's got a 2-year-old. I think it's a son.
It's just not nice.
That's what you get with footballers. Lots of money at a young age. So they're like, we can bring one up. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for him. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was intentional.
They've both come out and apologised as well. For the incident.
With the incident, it was like bringing girls back into their rooms.
They broke COVID guidelines. So COVID guidelines was obviously it's just the team and the staff.
Yeah,
they brought 2 girls back. Clearly, something would have happened.
But there's everything's going on. He's like, if Foden is with someone, his girlfriend would be happy. Even just breaking the rules anyway.
Just breaking the rules alone is quite bad. But the fact that even if they did have a relationship with somebody, both of them, then that's even worse.
And they'll both say nothing happened, this and that, but we will never know the actual truth.
We'll never know the actual truth. We can only assume.
I think a lot more people will want to know what actually happened in the room rather than just the fact they broke the rules. That's just what's going to happen with media and all that.
But I think also with the media as well, it was kind of like they kind of made it out as if their career as England players was over. And
it's not.
It's not.
Jack Grealish broke COVID rules with a massive party.
Jack Grealish did.
Kyle Walker did. And now look at them now, fine.
Well, Kyle Walker did say he doesn't know if he's going to.
Did you actually see he was on an interview with Soccer AM with Tubes, if you know who he is.
Yeah.
Like the chubby one. He's a funny guy, but he was he did a Zoom call or something. And he literally said, I'm at home, I'm all this and that, just by myself, recovery, fitness.
24 hours later,
it comes out saying he's having a massive mosh up.
We've seen it before, and at the time we've always gone, you're stupid.
Mason Greenwood has released a statement.
I think Mason Greenwood deactivated his Twitter and then released a statement. Foden released a statement, I think a few hours after the incident was.
I haven't seen Foden's, but I'm assuming it's probably a bit similar. They both said the problem is with apologies from football players is it's hard to see if they admit it or not, because whether or not they want to do it, they have to bring out an apology because there's how they are. They're celebrity, they're massive, well-known players, and both of them being prospects, they'll probably be. I can see them being let off because they're kids. Kids make mistakes. You make more mistakes when you're younger, and you learn from them. But obviously, this is like, it's just the fact that it's very clear what to do and what not to do, and you've broken it.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing.
I think, but also
it's not like they forgot.
It's not only just the fact that there were guidelines set and they broke it. It's also the fact that they had, if they could, well, it's likely that they were in relationships, and the fact that they actually kind of went, no, we'll bring these two girls and it won't be a problem. Obviously we don't know what happened, but obviously, you know, you can assume only a certain amount of things with that situation. If you bring a girl back to your place, you are gonna assume something, and so it's not good on them in terms of a personal level, but in terms of a professional level in football, you know, they've been removed for their next game against Denmark, but that's it. You know, I don't have a problem with them if they're back in the squad.
I mean, they're
next month.
They flew back to England, didn't they? Southgate came out.
They came back out and said.
I mean, Man United. I mean, to be fair, City United fans are secretly going, "Oh yeah, it's getting back early for training for the season," but just doesn't justify the fact that they broke the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they can apologise. They hopefully learn from this. Don't do it again. Like Greenwood did say in his apology speech or document that it was a massive honour. He let down the fans, Gareth Southgate especially, for picking him.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact that he broke the rules, they knew the rules, and it's just all these things came down to the fact that they chose to break the rules on their own accord.
Yeah, exactly.
And they knew what the rules were, and it was very obvious what they were doing, and they know it's a mistake. We've seen it, as we said before, with Grealish and Kyle Walker. They knew the rules and they broke them. So I don't know. I don't know if they will get some sort of fine or something, or they'll just
they may get fined. But I mean, it's something that will be like, it will be talked about over the next couple of days.
It will die down.
And it will die down a bit, and then by the start of the season, that's it. It'll be over.
I can't see like Southgate not picking them for the Euros. Or something.
They'll be fine. Like they're still great talents, and if they go on to have another good season, each of them, I wouldn't be surprised if they will be going to.
Like even like players like Ronaldo and Messi, they did tax evasion, didn't they, years ago? And like now, no one talks about it now.
No,
it was a big thing at the time.
No one really. You're still always. It's always constantly brought up every now and again. Like, oh yeah, Messi's now tax.
Zidane headbutting someone in the middle of the pitch, massive instance. It's not like talked about every day, but it's like a famous event in football.
Yeah, I think
it doesn't deny the fact that he's one of the best players of all time.
Yeah, if you bring up Zidane, that will definitely be one of the persons that will come up. But it's not like it will hinder the rest of his stuff. It's not like
the achievements.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like, oh yeah, he headbutted that, but remember his goal against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League final. Exactly, stuff like that. To do like the transfer window, that's still going ahead. Like so let's talk about more transfers.
So obviously
Havertz, after 10 years of the
that was last week. So Chelsea have done a madness. They've easily got one of the best.
Chelsea have done a madness.
Transfer windows they've ever had. They are not the best transfer windows.
They are playing Football Manager in real life.
People say like, all this and that, but they've always been good at transfer windows. They've kept the money from last year's transfer window. Yeah, exactly. And it's going to add up to about 250 million spent, something like that. Think of it. Havertz was 71 million. Werner was what?
50 something million.
Chilwell was like another 50 million.
So what's that? That's 50,
100,
50, 55.
170 with Havertz.
Yeah, 170, 105. Ziyech was about 40 million. So that's 200. And
Chilwell was...
200. No, we've already done Chilwell. Yeah. And then they signed Thiago and Milan Shah on a free.
I don't know, was Thiago free?
Thiago was free, because his contract was run out at the end of the season.
And then they'd probably get bonuses or something as well.
Yeah, there'll be bonuses for them.
But and wages. I like the fact they've done that, because then it puts pressure on Liverpool and Man City for the title. Because
we still
a lot of people would like undecided. People will say like, give it like the first 10 games of the season. We'll see if Chelsea are actually going to be title challengers or not. Because you can borrow the best players in the world, but if they can't play well together,
we talked about this in the last podcast.
You can
exactly. You can have a great team, but it's like PSG. Over the past few seasons, like they have great players. You see Mbappe, you see Neymar, you see Di Maria. Like that's a great front three. If they don't have the chemistry, it's not going to work. And I think, I'm sure they'll be fine, Chelsea, because Werner and Havertz both play for Germany, so they've got good chemistry already.
Chilwell's used to play in the Premier League, so
Chilwell's used to play in the Premier League. Thiago's much more of a leader in that back line, so he'll be fine. Pulisic's played in the Bundesliga as well, so not saying he'll have a good relationship with Werner and Havertz, but he'll be able to communicate with them more a bit better.
That
wasn't good English. But,
I can see him having a good solid season. I can see them getting third quite comfortably. At least.
I think they'll definitely challenge. Whether or not they'll win it, and I think they're still a defender or a goalkeeper away from actually saying, you know what, that's it. Because I think with Liverpool, it was always the case of we have a good defence, our midfield's alright, and our front three is insane. But before we had Alisson, we were like, but it's the goalkeeper. And as soon as we got Alisson, I think every Liverpool fan was like, okay, now we can challenge. Now we can actually go ahead.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with Chelsea. I think they are linked with the.
They want a new goalkeeper, don't they?
Yeah, they want a new goalkeeper. They've been linked with.
Nana from Ajax.
They've been linked with Nana from Ajax. They've been linked with the Lille goalkeeper. I think it's like my nan or something like that.
Doesn't matter.
But I think the likely one they'll get is it's another team from Liga, and I think it's Rennes.
Do you think Kepa will go, and they'll just keep Willie as second goalkeeper?
It'll be tough to find a buyer for Kepa because he's bad, but Chelsea will consider to try and get quite a bit of money for him. They'll ask like 40-50 million from him probably.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, you forget he is the most expensive goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah.
I still think that was a panic buy because they sold Courtois to Real Madrid and they were like, we need a goalkeeper. Let's bring this kid in. But I think it's been partly Kepa's fault in terms of what's the defence of Chelsea, but I think it's also the back line. But they're sorting out the back four, but they do need to sort out the goalkeeper spot. But in terms of him, I think he'll stay, Kepa.
I think he will.
And then I don't know how long Willie Caballero's got left in his contract.
I think they'll bring someone in. They'll do what Man United did with Dean Henson, competing for top, for like first team goalkeeper.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested in how that's going to work though, because Dean Henson would want to play.
Dean Henson signed the contract because he basically said, "I want to play." I think Man United's first goalkeeper.
But then you've got David De Gea, who
Pereira's gone out on loan. They have Grant, Pereira, Romero, De Gea.
Pereira's gone out on loan. So basically Dean Henson's replacing him. But you've got Lee Grant, who's fourth choice. You're going to have probably Romero as third. Then I'll probably say
Grant usually just as the pre-season.
Grant's usually just
when they go off to America and do the games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like Grant's usually there just to help warm them up, but he's still classed as a Man United goalkeeper. I think he played in a couple of games. I'm not sure.
I think he played against like Derby in that last season. Not last season, the season before.
Yeah, I can see like David De Gea and Dean Henson intertwining for the first half of the season.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
And then Ole will have to make a decision because he signed 120k a week or something like that.
Personally, I would have Dean Henson over.
Oh yeah, I would.
David De Gea. Because I think he's young.
So I don't get David De Gea. Like he makes some saves that no other goalkeeper would make, and then he does some stupid things.
Ever since the 2018 World Cup.
Yeah, you said this, didn't you? Yeah.
He wasn't. He's been going downhill.
It's like goalkeepers get in their primes later than the rest of the field. Like they get in their primes like between 32, 35.
Yeah, but it's because goalkeepers last longer than outfield players.
Buffon is like 42.
Yeah, and he's still going.
Yeah.
He must be good.
He's still a really good goalkeeper.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he cocked up against United against PSG, but he was mates. I watched the Serie A, and it's the most defensive league out of the top 5 leagues in Europe. But obviously, the goalkeepers still have a fair bit to do, and he still pull off some mad saves.
Oh yeah. But I think De Gea has peaked. From what it seems, it looks like he's peaked.
Yeah. I'm not writing him off just yet.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not that he can't go back up to that level.
It's like if my life was on the line, I had to choose one of them to save the penalty, I'll put Dean Henson.
You'd put Dean Henson over David De Gea?
To save the penalty, yeah.
Fair enough. But I think...
Or any situation, a one-on-one or like a 30-yarder, like any situation.
Or an easy shot that should have been saved.
Yeah. Or an accidental spill. Or through the legs.
Saying that Dean Henson No.
Every goalkeeper makes mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm still having Dean Henderson.
I would still take Dean Henderson.
I fear Ollie though has a soft spot for De Gea, and he always praises him in things like, I still think he's the best goalkeeper of all time. Like,
but I think also with Sergio Romero as well, he'll probably go as well because
people have been want to sign him. I can't remember who it was. Someone wants to sign him.
I think like Aston Villa, Leeds.
I think Newcastle or something. Or like foreign, or like some other leagues.
Well, they've got Dubravka.
He is a very good goalkeeper.
Actually, we should talk about Newcastle because they've pulled off some transfer business as well recently.
Yeah, Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson.
They signed Ryan Fraser on free. They signed Callum Wilson, who's taken
come here, Bournemouth.
Yeah, pretty much. They've given him the number 9 shirt.
2 decent signings to be fair, because Joe Linton is a load of rubbish.
I don't know what you mean. He scored the winning goal against Tottenham for them. No, okay. I'll give him that. Yeah, but Callum Wilson has taken the number 9 shirt, which was Joe Linton's number. So that's interesting. But they signed somebody else. I can't remember. Oh God, who did they sign? I think they signed him the other day though. But I'm pretty sure they signed somebody else, and they're very close to signing Jamal Lewis as well, the left back from Norwich, who we were interested in Liverpool. But we turned to them and went, we'll do 11 million, and they went, no, we want 20 million. He's going for 13 million. What?
What do you mean? But yeah, like other transfers, James Rodriguez up to Everton. It says James.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Our number 7's James Milner. Sorry, forgot about that.
James. Everton's official YouTube channel. It says James. So I'm taking it as James.
Yeah, no, but just because
people call him James, just because
Bar is spelled the same in the North doesn't mean they pronounce it the same.
I'm pretty sure James is just English.
James
is just It
doesn't matter. James Rodriguez is signed for Everton, as has Alan.
Is he? What country is he from? Mexico.
Who?
James Rodriguez.
He's Colombian.
Oh, he is as well, isn't he?
He scored that goal against Uruguay.
Why did I say Mexico? Of course he's from Colombia.
I apologise. I apologise for Charlie's lack of knowledge of football.
One name.
Anyway, so yeah, James Rodriguez.
Mexican.
I don't know.
I knew it was Colombian. I was like, I knew, but I don't know. Okay.
Anyway, so they've signed him on a 2-year deal with an option of a 3rd year. They've signed Alan from Napoli. I don't know how long for, 4 years, 5 years. But that's some good business by them. For Everton, yeah. But we've seen this before. They've done good business.
Nothing's materialised.
Richarlison's probably the only good sign they've made in a while. But
Everton's one of those teams that like...
These are 2 players though that if they do fail, it is so bad. You've gone from Real Madrid to Everton.
Especially with his interview. Did you see his interview?
Hey, James Rodriguez.
James Rodriguez is, yeah.
But no, I haven't seen it.
Basically, obviously he speaks in like his
Mexican.
So Mexican, they don't even speak, they don't have their own language. They speak like Spanish.
I was just kidding.
I know. They speak like Spanish or something. So obviously he was just saying that one of his main reasons of picking Everton over other clubs was Ancelotti.
Well,
and he's been with him twice before.
Real Madrid. He signed him for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And then he signed him on loan for Bayern Munich, and now he's signed him again.
Everton.
He's like, who's that? I don't know who that was.
Well, players don't really go to clubs where they have bad relationships with the manager. That's not really common, only if they absolutely have to or need or have no choice. So you can tell they've got a good relationship. I rate Ancelotti highly as a manager. I'm sorry that he's gone to Everton because no one else wanted him.
Yeah. It wasn't that. I think it was just that.
I don't really like.
I think he would have gone to Arsenal, but I think Everton just got him before Arsenal. But I think Arsenal still would have. I think Arteta still would have been a high candidate for them. But I think. Everton have done some good business, and if they do fail this season, it is, that is really bad on them. I think the past season or 2 we can kind of accept because Sigurdsson was like playing for Swansea. Andre Gomes was kind of like wasn't really much to do with Barcelona anymore. Not saying he's not a bad signing. I think he's done alright there. But like Bernard as well, only played in for, was it Shakhtar Donetsk? So like these are players that are okay, but they haven't really played up there, you know. But these, you're talking Alan and James Rodriguez, who has played in Champions League finals, you know, Alan, who's also played in the Champions League and also a Brazilian international. These are players that
Brazilians are
these are players that should be up there, and they've kind of gone down here. No offense to Everton, but
I mean,
no, go on.
James Rodriguez is he's 29 now, so he's 29. He's got a few years left in him. Yeah, he's 29.
Oh my god,
he doesn't look 29, does he? He looks like early 20s, but he's been around for
2014 World Cup, was that long ago? Oh my god.
But yeah, he's 29. But like, you would never guess it. But yeah, he's getting old, but you know, he should be in the prime of his career these years. So with the signings they've made, like within the Premier League, you can only see like the Premier League is the only league in Europe where like players of the stature of James or James Rodriguez would go to. Like, you would go to like a mid-table Spanish team or French team or German team. It's just the Premier League. Right, if you can hear that, that's a dog.
That's my dog. I want to talk. I know this isn't something you really know much about, but I want to talk about it because I've watched it. Tottenham Hotspur All or Nothing.
I haven't really watched it, but I know
it's on Prime.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to give you my Prime if you want, because I have access to all the episodes so far.
Oh, thank you very much, Joe.
There's, at the time of recording, actually when this is uploaded, there'll still be 6 episodes, but there'll be 9.
Have they brought them all? Oh, they haven't brought them all.
They're bringing them out in chunks every Monday, 3 at a time. Right. So I think the next 3 will be next.
How many episodes are there overall?
I think there's 9, because I think there was 9 for Man City. I could be wrong though. I don't know how many there are.
3 Mondays. Yeah.
So three each Monday, and then I'm assuming it's running on 3 weeks. But I've watched the first 6. I watched the first 3 when it came out on the Monday, and I watched the next 3 yesterday. I'm enjoying it because it's really interesting. I enjoyed watching the Man City one as well, because it was really interesting.
You clearly saw from of Jose Mourinho watching the Sky Sports.
Yeah, when he was doing his work in his office, and then Sky Sports was talking about it on. Yeah, he was
talking about me.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
he was. He was. They were talking about it and saying, like, one pundit was saying, you know, he's no longer the manager he was. He's
washed up. He's done.
Yeah, he's washed up. He's done. And that manager was like, Jose Mourinho. He's won titles everywhere he's gone. He'll do the same at Tottenham.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, you know, whatever. And then he just turns the TV off and tells us to F off. So.
I got second with Manchester United with Phil Jones and Chris Smalling at the back.
Oh my god.
He's not wrong there.
My dog just keeps...
It'll be a pain.
Okay, anyway. But I want to talk about it because it's really interesting to see, because like I was saying, like, the Manchester City one I watched, it was really interesting to watch, mainly because we played them 4 times. It was really interesting to see 3 of the 4 times because we hammered them. But... it's really interesting to see that behind the scenes and whatnot, because they showed off the conversation Jose Mourinho had with Harry Kane. They showed off a conversation Jose Mourinho had with Dele Alli, and also a conversation that.
And is this like after games, or is this like in training?
No, this is like like at the training ground and whatnot. And
is this all like? Does it start off when he, like, the day he comes in?
No, so it starts off with at the start of the season, so with Poch. What I don't like about this series though. Was the fact that they breezed past Pochettino stuff. Now I don't know whether it was a contract thing, like you only allowed a certain amount if the manager gets sacked, just quickly move on. But I think it's different, because if it happened in like February, March, if Poch got sacked, it's different because that's half the season. This was like November when he got sacked. So, but they breezed past that stuff. It was like 10-15 minutes of Poch and then moved on to Mourinho. And I didn't really like that, because I wanted to like
show a bit more respect for him.
Yeah, one, show more respect to it, but also to see what it was like under Poch as well. See what happened in the dressing room, why things turned the way it did. But they didn't really show much about that. They just quickly breezed past games. They quickly showed off the Brighton game where they lost 3-0. They quickly showed off the Liverpool game where they lost 2-1. They didn't talk anything about the Man City game. They didn't talk. I don't think they talked much about the Aston Villa game. The opening game of the season. They didn't even talk much about that. They just quickly. I don't know if they even did. They just quickly went on about it. They quickly talked about signings, talked a bit about a couple of the games, and then Potter was gone. And then after that, it was really delved deep into Mourinho's first days and whatnot. But it was interesting because Mourinho kept calling Dele Alli lazy in training, but still played him, which was quite interesting. But there was a recent episode that came out talked about Danny Rose, and he had a meeting with Mourinho. He came in early and was like, "Can I have a word with you?" And it didn't turn into an argument. It wasn't like they clashed heads.
Didn't he go to Newcastle or something?
He went to Newcastle anyways on loan, but it wasn't like they clashed heads. This was during the January window, but they clashed. I wouldn't say they clashed heads, but
had a disagreement.
Danny Rose was a bit more forward than Mourinho. Mourinho was more like, fine, I respect your opinion, whatever. But Danny Rose was basically just annoyed they hadn't played since the Liverpool game where they lost 1-0. And he was like, have I done anything wrong? Like,
Get good.
And Mourinho was like, it's just I'm just picking other players because they've done well in training. And then he was
deserved
like,
the spot.
Yeah, but then Danny Rose turned around and was like, well, no, because in training half the team that you pick, they're not actually good, but yet you still pick them week in, week out. And then it was a back and forth, but then they left, and Danny Rose I think left in my opinion, when they both left, Mourinho was like, actually the nicer guy. Not saying that he isn't a nice guy normally, but
he's a manager. He should be handling things like
exactly,
that in the right manner.
Yeah, exactly. But he was like, your opinion is respected. I get that. But like Danny Rose wanted to go to like an elite club or a club of a similar stature to Tottenham, but he only had Bournemouth and Newcastle. So obviously he went to Newcastle. But it's just really interesting with the Tottenham one because they delve deep into kind of like the back, like what we don't see. Pretty much it's what we don't see.
Because we have to rely on like the media saying, the manager and this players had a disagreement, they had a fallout, these players and this player had a phone call, and then this series, what it sounds like, just proves like how much of things like the media say is true or false. And whether the media can come out and say Mourinho and Danny Rose been caught having a massive brawl and a massive argument, when really it could have just been slightly raised voice, had a slight different opinions, and then he decided to go on loan. He was happy with that. That's all it was. All about kicks.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it sounds interesting. I probably will watch it somewhere soon, maybe before the start of the season, just so I'm fresh going into the new season. I think the Mellor came out, I saw it today, he's just banging on about saying, yes, we haven't won nothing, our rivals Arsenal have won, even just silverware, and they've had one of their worst seasons ever, and they still managed to get a cup. I mean, we can't deny that. We are just lacking in the silverware department. It must be the smallest room in the world for a big club. But exactly. They've got the stadium, they've got the fans, they've got the players.
They just need the trophies.
They've got a quality manager. Yeah, they just need to play together. And actually, even if this season, I doubt they're going to get top four this season with the club, with the teams City, Liverpool, Chelsea,
when you look at it on paper,
and United.
When you look at it on paper, you can't really see it, and I don't think they'll be that active in the transfer window.
No.
I mean, they have signed.
Make a couple.
Although to be fair, they signed Højbjerg from Southampton. They signed Doherty from Wolves. Have they signed anyone else? They haven't. I think they might be interested.
They need
in
to
striker,
expand into Europe. But it's only because they're in the Europa League.
As I said, they're in the Europa League, so it's much more difficult for them. But they also in the All or Nothing thing, they did show off the transfer business and whatnot, and they showed off Christian Eriksen, and they had a conversation with him, and they talked about how we respect the fact that you want to go, that's fine, but Daniel Levy said a player of your quality, and we're only going to get 20 million euros for you. I'm not really happy with that. But he said as well, he said to Eriksen, I've never wanted to I never wanted you to not leave because I wanted more money, or like I never would have not refused your offer to leave because of money reasons.
Yeah.
But no, it was very interesting because eventually he did actually leave for that sum of money. But no, it is very interesting just to watch. And Mourinho actually seemed like in the footage that we've seen. Obviously there could be stuff that's edited out. But
basically, just gets you like the ins and outs of something that you wouldn't usually see.
Yeah. It's just giving you what stuff that you don't normally see. And with Tottenham, they talked a lot about injuries and like fixtures and whatnot. So, but yeah, it's just interesting to see. And Jose Mourinho definitely, like, the media portray him as kind of a grumpy kind of character.
Because like they love the media, like they love Pep, they love Klopp, they have a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
With Mourinho, he's very self-absorbent. Like he believes in himself.
I think it's mainly
brings the stats to the press conferences every time.
3-0.
Respect my titles.
Respect, man. Respect.
Second with this shit. But yeah, so.
But no, it is interesting, that kind of stuff. And I think Liverpool were asked to do it for the season we came second in the league when we lost by 1 point. I think we were asked to do it then, but I think Klopp said no because the hierarchy went to Klopp.
Yeah.
And he said no because he didn't want like the players to kind of set a specific profile on them when the cameras are on them. He didn't want he didn't want the cameras to put a different perspective on them, which I understand. And I think, and he did say as well, if he was asked, Klopp, if somebody put a camera in the Liverpool dressing room, what would happen? He said he would leave. So no one please put a camera in the dressing room. But yeah, I think I would want Liverpool to do that. I don't think it will happen, but it would be nice to see how Klopp and that work.
I want to see it Portsmouth. Like, there was so much arguments.
Yeah, but it needs to be
between the manager.
Yeah, but it needs to be a good club, Charlie. Come on now.
Great club, mate.
Yeah, that's why you're in League
Don't
One.
come at me, mate.
That's why you're in League One.
2008 FA Cup winners. We're the fifth team ever to win all of the leagues. And when I mean that, I mean we won the Premier League, but it was called League One at the time.
Okay. Well, you're technically then you're still in League One.
That's different now. It's probably like conference back then, League One. But great club, Portsmouth. Best atmosphere in the world. I'm not denying that. It is. It's one of those. All the commentators.
It's one of those. It's just opinion based.
Even Jose Mourinho, he said in a press conference, didn't he? I think it was managing Man United at the time. He said he got asked a question. Why do you feel like the fans aren't as passionate or as loud as they used to be? And then Jose Mourinho just said that it's not Portsmouth. The first thing that he said was like, it's not Portsmouth. You can find it on YouTube. It was like, when I went there managing Chelsea, it's such a small club and they were losing by a heavy amount, but they're still singing their hearts out and everything like that. It's just, that's what I want to see from clubs. Like, I mean, United, like that's just a prime example of a club that was so loud when they were winning everything, and now they're like, they're not as good as they were. It's a bit dead now.
Yeah.
Chelsea have always been dead.
Man City have always been on
like the two loudest clubs in the Premier League is definitely Anfield, definitely Newcastle, but I forgot the same. Is it St
James's Park?
James's Park, yeah.
Sorry, St Hammer's Park. Sorry. All right, let's talk about one more big transfer then. I don't know what it is, but let's talk.
Suarez is looking like he's off to Juve, so
Suarez is looking like he's off to Juve.
That means Messi ain't got no Xavi, ain't got no Iniesta, ain't got Neymar, ain't got no Suarez. He is by himself.
He's still got Griezmann
and Fatty.
Yeah, but Fatty looks good though.
Yeah.
But he's got Griezmann. Griezmann's been linked with Liverpool and Man United recently, and I'm like, where
he ain't going? He ain't leaving.
Yeah, he ain't leaving. He ain't
going nowhere.
But like, I love it because like I think Gold actually tweeted out like Antoine Griezmann to Liverpool, discuss, and I was just thinking, ain't going to happen. That's all I can think. It isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think Thiago, I really want to sign, and it's really frustrating how it's not. It's taken so long.
I mean,
he did come out, but he did come out and say though that he's happy at Bayern, and that his only focus is the next game.
But they always say that.
Yeah, they always say that. But
and then you got Van der Beek, who Man United signed.
Yes,
good signing, good prospect. I think Man United have a really solid midfield. It's their strongest part of their team. I mean, now Greenwood's been given the number 11 shirt, so it looks like he's probably like good to start with.
Who had the 11 shirt beforehand?
Huh?
Who had the 11 shirt for Man United before him?
No, he's been given it officially. He never had it.
No, but who had it before him?
I don't really know. I probably did.
You know what another iconic number is there? Number 7. And do you know who wore it last? Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah.
And what did he talk about it? The first day on the training ground, he wanted to go back to Arsenal.
It's only because he had an absolute flop there. He has literally a picture of him as a kid with like a 5-year-old kid wearing a Man United hat on it. It was his dream to play for them. I don't know if it was still his dream when he went there, but he was happy to move there. He was earning ridiculous amount of money, 400k a week. It was a joke. He was like, mate, I can be injured all the time. I'm still earning this amount of money. It's a joke. And I think especially now when COVID was around, the fact that Man United got him to go to Inter Milan is like, I don't know how they've done it, but it's a very good business for them. A lot of money they can spend elsewhere on a potential Sancho, which it's sort of died down. I still believe it probably will happen.
Not going to happen.
He believes it doesn't.
It's not going to happen this season. It's not going to happen this season.
But then I think they left the number 7 shirt for Sancho. That's what I think. And that's what a lot of people are saying. That means he's going to fail.
No, it won't. They don't have to give it to anyone. I'm not saying they have to give it to somebody. I'm just saying, like, I believe you as well. I do agree that they're leaving it for Sancho. It will just be very awkward. Yeah. That they don't.
I think they will sign him, but I think this is the easiest time for them to sign him because next year
it's the easiest time to sign them now because even though he's more expensive, they're the only team that's really got a chance of getting him. Man City aren't really interested.
Real Madrid got the money.
Real Madrid don't. I don't think Real Madrid really need him anyway, and I don't think he'll suit Real Madrid or Barcelona. We're not. I think we are interested in him, but it's just not possible.
Yeah.
We can't sign Thiago. We definitely can't sign Sancho. So Manchester United are the only team that have a good chance of signing him this season. But if they leave it until next season, I think we could potentially get him.
I think a lot more teams will be in for it, especially around Europe, not necessarily in the Premier League. But I'd like to see him back in the Premier League.
Or we could just sign a contract extension.
Because I think like the amount of top quality talent that's come in and that's already here, but like Kevin De Bruyne and Harry Kane are already here, but like the amount of talent that's come into the Premier League's just hotting up. Like La Liga was our nearest rivals, and they've lost Ronaldo. It's still pretty big, wasn't as big, and now Messi is staying, but he will not be. I don't think he'll. I think he'll have a terrible first half of the season, and then it'll just be done. I think he can.
I think he'll still play. I think he'll still play well.
I mean, he'll get goals and assists. He'll probably still end up being the top goal scorer in the league, by God's sake. Like I think Benzema then got on him.
Yeah, I think it'll be the same kind of result in terms of Barcelona's season. In terms of,
I think Real Madrid will be like the domination now for a while because I think Zidane's got them.
Yeah, like Barcelona were that for a while. Like I think,
and they've got talent coming through like Rodrigo,
Vinicius Junior. Yeah, Eder Militao.
They've got a fair few players coming through, haven't they?
Reguilon, but he could be off to
United.
Well, they've been.
He's the strongest link, but yeah.
Well,
we'll have to see.
Alex Telles from Porto's been linked with Manchester United as well, but we'll see. We're still only linked with Thiago, and that's about it.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think the Premier League's hotting up. It's doing very well. Switching over to another sport. Did you see what happened to Novak Djokovic? If you followed tennis,
I heard an incident happen, but I didn't know what actually happened.
So basically,
do enlighten me.
So Novak Djokovic in the US Open playing against this, I think it was a Spanish guy. I'm not sure, but
Rafa Nadal.
No,
it's just a Spanish guy.
One guy.
Just a Spanish guy.
No, it wasn't Rafa Nadal. He was playing like second round, I think it was, and he just
Liverpool legend.
But he basically, I think he lost the pointless set. I can't remember which point, but he was upset, and he basically got the ball, and they just hit it backwards after like a serve. Right. When they pick up like 3 balls after the ball.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he and they just tap it back.
He did it.
He was by the net though, so he was walking back to his bench,
right?
And he basically just had the ball in his hand, slapped it back with a racket, like a lot harder than you would just tap the balls back when you were about to serve.
But it wasn't
like hard. It wasn't a serve.
Okay, right.
He would literally just went like that, and just like that. I
don't know if it's all that, but
yeah, it probably went about 30 miles an hour. Not a big. It wasn't even. It didn't really put much weight on it. He just went like that.
Okay, it's still enough to like if they make contact,
it would hurt.
That ball, but
and they hit this lady, and she basically hit. I think her face, neck, or something, like her body, and she basically just was on the floor, just sobbing, crying. And she just made a meal of it. Like, don't get me wrong, probably hurt. They would hurt anyone.
She's the female tennis ball, whatever the thing is called. Called name.
She was one of the linesmen, and like I don't get it because like people get hit with serves all the time, like 150 mile, 140 mile an hour serves, and ball boys just like, it hurts, they get up, they walk it off, they laugh it off, and everyone just cheers them next time they catch the ball or something.
Let me see if I can find
but then Novak Djokovic, he does it, it was an accident, he wasn't even looking, he just hit it backwards, it hits her, she makes a meal of it, she walks off with a water bottle crying or something, and then with watery eyes, and then he gets disqualified. Like, he shouldn't have done it, but I mean, he wasn't looking, he didn't mean to hit her. I mean, okay, you can take a game off him or a few points off him, but you don't have to ban him from the tournament. It's just such a overreaction.
They banned him?
No, like they disqualified him from that tournament. Not forever, not for the US Open, but
no, but like, oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was like, he was good at winning, but
they just need to. It's one of those things that just happens.
And he's world number one. He's world number one still now. So yeah, world number one is out.
It's just one of those things though, like, it is
a
bit of frustration. Yeah.
It's like, this is my chance.
Did you hear about? This will be the last topic we talk about. But did you hear about Spencer FC and the Wembley Cup?
It keeps coming on my recommended on YouTube.
Have you watched it? So basically,
is he in the FA Cup?
Oh yeah. It's not about that. It's not about that. But they are in the FA Cup. Yeah,
that's mad. How?
It is mad. It is.
Because they're an official team, aren't they? But are they high enough in their conference?
They're high
enough
come up in their league to get into the FA Cup.
So they're doing the qualifiers.
I think they won 3-2 actually in there.
So they're doing the qualifiers to get in the draw.
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
But fair play to them. They've done very well. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But basically, this was 2 years ago. I don't know why it's coming up now, but it is. So 2 years ago was the 2018 Wembley Cup final.
Are you about True Geordie and?
Well, I'm talking about just the Wembley Cup in general, really. But the group stages of that, it was EXO versus F2 as the first group stage match, and it was meant to be 2 15-minute halves. EXO went up 1-0 in the first half, and then the ref blew the whistle 2 minutes early before the full-time whistle. So this was in the second half. He blew it 13 minutes in rather than 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
F2 saw that and stopped. Literally, apparently they stopped production for like 2 or 3 hours to try and rectify this thing. And Spencer was like, "I'm trying to help you here."
So it's XOV who?
XOV F2.
Oh right,
so
okay.
Yeah.
And what was the score?
It ended up 1-0 to EXO.
Yeah.
And it was only 2 minutes left.
Right.
So realistically, 2 minutes.
But anything can happen in 2 minutes. Anything That's what F2 was kind of saying.
Anything can happen in 2 minutes, but EXO did a lot. You could have just played the last 2 minutes, but they didn't. They wanted a full. They wanted, I think, a full rematch, and then or just a half that half. But then they accused Spencer of match fixing, or paying the ref to do that.
Yeah.
And then that's why this whole thing of like Jeremy, when he had an interview, he was like, "Oh, that's why the refs are on the same salary as Spencer or whatever," and then he dropped went off.
Fair bit of backlash, didn't he, recently?
Yeah, he. I think everyone was on the side of Spencer,
especially like man like Hacks is like one of their mates. He's just a comedian.
Is that the guy that went up to Steve?
Yeah. And then
that whole thing happened because
was that related to that? Well, Stephen Tries.
Stephen Tries uploaded the diss track on them the day before.
Yeah, I saw it was about that.
It's a joke. Everyone knows that diss tracks aren't meant to be taken seriously.
It's like, no, bruv.
But like after the match happened, because it was meant to be like EXO. He said like EXO would win and that they would lose. Obviously, F2 went on to win the thing, but Stephen was like going around like applauding the fans and whatnot. Hacks came over and was like threatening him and whatnot, and it's about because obviously the diss track and whatnot, and it's like it's just a diss track or whatever. And then obviously the after party thing happened and whatnot. Apparently, True Geordie uploaded a video, I think a day or two ago, and he was saying like he thought it was actually turning into like a brawl or something, and that's why it came in so viciously.
Yeah, he said I saw his video. Like, True Geordie he was like, I had no idea what happened. I got informed briefly that it was just I don't know, like something had a disagreement. Yeah,
Steve's in trouble.
I'm going in, boys.
That is brilliant.
I'm going to check my boy. It's like, is everything alright? I think it's calm down, mate. And then you just see like man like Hacks just like, well, I'm not beating him in a fight, so I'm just going to walk away.
But yeah, Stephen like had it covered and whatnot.
Jezza was there, but he didn't really do anything.
Yeah, he was just there, just like whatever. But basically, it's mainly to do with the group stage match. 2 years later, Spencer gets an email from one of the, not the actual ref that was refereeing the match, but one of like the official team part of the team. Saying what happened, and saying that the ref was getting a lot of stick and whatnot, or like the F2 were just being quite vicious, not vicious towards the ref, but like were just being
arrogant towards
not arrogant. No. Let me rephrase it. They were just like every decision that went against them, they were like, what the hell? But that's like that in every football match, isn't it? Like if you get a decision that doesn't go your way, you're going to be annoyed, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, what the hell, ref? So basically they were like that. The ref didn't like it. So when they went in at half time, he told the linesman and whatnot, I'm going to cut the game short. I'm going to cut it off by 2 minutes or whatever. And so they went back out, and apparently like the team didn't.
So were they 1-0 up going into half time?
They were 1-0 up going into half time.
Right, okay.
So it's like I want the F2 to lose. If it stays like this,
is there a video of this?
Spencer and that did a video explaining.
Oh right, okay.
But they came out saying like the ref came out saying like if it's still 1-0, I'm going to cut the game short. And the rest of the team and the large were like, whatever, you know, I won't take much notice of it because it must be like you must not be telling the truth or whatnot.
Yeah.
He ended it 13 minutes. He told the linesman to clear your watches so they don't see it. He didn't clear his own blimmin' watch, and that's why F2 noticed it.
Rookie mistake.
Because I think they were already suspicious that it ended a bit early, but they obviously checked the watch and it was like, oh my god. And then they checked the footage as well, saw it was 30 minutes early. But it wasn't because Spencer paid them. I didn't believe that to begin with anyway. It was because the ref himself made the decision to end the game early because F2 were just annoyed at when the decision didn't go their way, which I think they perfectly have every right to. Whether or not they said anything that was offensive towards the ref or anything like that, we don't know. But from what it sounds like, if it was only a bit of like, what the hell, ref, you're wrong, you shouldn't really take that personally.
Billy and Jez are playing?
I think they were.
Well, they just own it. It's the team, so they just manage it.
I think the guy that said was the best prospect from the Invincibles, from the Arsenal Invincible, I think he was playing. Yeah. God, I can't believe he said that. But yeah, it was just that beef, and you know, it's for some reason it's been going on for 2 years, and now it's come to a conclusion, but there's now been an answer to it. And it just seems like, what's the point now? Why now? Why not 2 years ago when it actually meant something? But you know, it is what it is. But they also went on to talk about like how they wouldn't work with the F2 again and whatnot.
Do love a bit of drama, don't we?
Yeah, we love a bit of YouTube drama. Yeah. You know, we can't go wrong with that. But I think that's all we've got time for.
Yeah. It's been good.
It has been good. We mainly talk about football. We do apologise, but
there hasn't been a lot happened.
There hasn't been two big major what? What am I trying to say?
Too many major events.
Thank you. There hasn't been too many major events this week. Yeah. Like I said, if that changes between Tuesday and Friday when this is coming out, we do apologise. We might address it in the next one, but it might just be too late by then, and we'll just hope that another big news story comes around. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But
Thank you guys for watching.
Yes, thank you guys so much for watching.
And if you stayed throughout the whole time, then go and buy yourself a turbo and you deserve it.
Great. That's how you treat yourself.
Do fancy one, to be fair. But thank you guys for watching.
Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell
so you know when
stuff. The next episode is out, hopefully next Friday.
Yeah. Let us know in the comment section anything you particularly liked about this podcast, anything that has happened in the next few days.
And also just let us know what you will want to talk about maybe as well.
Exactly.
Like because obviously we've been stuck this week with topics. If you have any suggestions, do let us know.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll make sure to bring them up in the next podcast.
Exactly.
And I guess we'll see you in the next one. I've been Charlie.
And I've been Joe.
In a bit.